Hi, my name is Andy Robinson, and I'm a part of the professional company at the Wagon Theater, and I play Captain Hook in our production of Peter Pan that opens on Wednesday, June 6th, and runs until Saturday, June 16th.
What version of Peter Pan is this? How different is it from like the Disney version, or what? Or its differences? Or?
Good question. The story's the same. Peter Pan was originally written as a play and then adapted by its author, James Barrie, as a novel. But the text is pretty true to that original play and that original novel. It was first produced as a musical in the mid-'50s as a vehicle for Mary Martin, which followed the tradition from Victorian theater that young men's roles or boys' roles were often played by adult women. Actually, the Peter Pan movie of Disney's movie is one of the first times that a male voice was used for the character of Peter Pan. So this is a version that people may have seen on TV with Mary Martin or with Kathy Rigby that's been on more recently, but it's the Broadway production that was then done for television. But our production is special in that we actually have cast a young male actor who's a college student at Cincinnati Conservatory of Music to play Peter Pan. So that's kind of an exciting change from the way most people have seen the show.
As Captain Hook, is that a role you've always wanted to play? Is it fun to play?
It's totally fun to play. I have to say that it's one of the roles I have often, as a tall character actor, thought I would love to play, and it's been really fun to do with this group. To collaborate with Scott Michaels, he has a great mind for slapstick and humor, and playing with the other actors playing pirates is incredibly fun. It's a lot like when we did Pirates of Penzance some number of years ago, and just we sort of decided among ourselves that being a pirate is about as much fun as you can have on stage. So.
Do you camp Hook up a lot, or do you play really broad, or how do you play?
That's a good question. I think he is very definitely a man tortured by ambition to be the best villain and to beat Peter Pan. So there are aspects of him, I think, that there are moments that are quite serious. There are also moments that are campy and funny. But I see him as a little bit of kind of like a Shakespearean tragic hero. So because he's fighting a battle he has to lose, because he's fighting against youth and joy and freedom, as Peter says in the final scene. So, and there's a tragedy to wanting to sort of win that battle, but ultimately, age and time are not in your favor. So
there's a lot of singing and dancing. Are there any particular numbers that people would know well? I mean, I think a lot of, again, the Disney version, but
yeah, I mean, this version is pretty well known. The Disney movie is, of course, a musical version, but this has just different songs, right? But some of the more well-known songs are "I'm Flying," "I've Got a Crow," maybe the most popular, "I Won't Grow Up," which people may have known, and that one sort of is sort of performed out of context a lot too. So,
in this version, are there still mermaids and Indians?
Mermaids, Indians, pirates, Lost Boys. One of our actors has a great track. She plays an Indian. She plays a mermaid. She plays the Darling's maid. So it's one of those that we have as actors in the company, we have a lot of fun performing.
So I mean, there's obviously a lot for kids. I mean, and adults too would enjoy the show.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is, as far as the Wagon Wheel season goes. We try to do a little bit for everyone, depending on which show it is, and we usually try to start the season off with a big family show. This is absolutely our big family show. At our open house the other day, we had a lot of kids in and out. And we talked to them about what they were going to see. We did some clips from the show. We did some of our sword fighting that's been choreographed for the show. So yeah, but it's one of those things where I have to tell you that every time the company watches the characters fly for the first time, it doesn't matter how old you are, you feel like a kid. It just makes you giggle or cry, or it's just something like the story of Peter Pan is about sort of the dilemma of what does it mean to grow up, and Peter Pan is the character that doesn't want to, but that also means that everyone that he knows grows up around him, and so that's kind of a bittersweet sort of. I think it's something you think about all the time. I think as grown-ups, we think about what it means to be a kid, and Neverland is really a children's playground. It's like the fantasy of all children, which is why there are those mermaids and pirates and Indians and flying and battles and all those things. And it makes me very sentimental to watch the parts of it about Peter Pan and the Lost Boys in particular.
Well, you mentioned flying a couple times. Is there a lot of flying in this show, and are you guys still working on it? Because I know
we've been rehearsing the flying from the very beginning, just like we've rehearsed everything else, and it's really great. We have there are flying consultants, technicians that go all over the world putting up shows, helping theaters put up shows that require flying, and Peter Pan is one of those. But flying in the round is not done very often. And I was a part of Superman when we did that some number of years ago, and this is a far more sophisticated sort of matrix of cables and wires. We actually fly 4 characters at once at the end of the first major scene, and it's really breathtaking. So.
Any chance that you want to fly?
I have to say it's not all it's cracked up to be. It feels a little bit like climbing because you basically wear underneath the costume. The actors will wear a harness that's basically and you're basically like sitting in a harness that's hoisted up. So they're doing a lot of choreographed movement. When it happens, the actor Lee, who's playing Peter Pan, has a lot of really choreography that makes him fly a certain direction or spin or. But we've got two young actors who are 8 and 13 who are also doing it. So I would like to fly, but everything is very sophisticated. There's a lot of sophistication in the way that the rigging is weight loaded. So each of the rigs is specific for a particular actor. So not me for this show. I can't think of a show where a big character actor gets to fly. But if I think of one, I'll suggest it to Scott Michaels.
There we go. Is there any part of the show that's a highlight for you playing Hook? I mean, is a crocodile still involved?
Oh yeah, the crocodile's there. It's great. The crocodile's an elaborate costume puppet that's beautifully designed. The crocodile's fun. I really like everything that I do. I mean, I get to sing, I get to dance, I get to be a villain, I get to be funny, I get to be a ham, which is one of my favorite things to do. And the other thing that's kind of fun is that Peter and I get to interact with the audience a little bit. There's the great part in Act 2 where Tinkerbell has drunk Peter Pan's the poison that Captain Hook has left for Peter Pan, and it's through the applause of the kids in the audience that she comes back to life. And anytime kids boo at me, I get to threaten them, and so it's a lot of fun.
Cool. Anything else you want people to know about this show or this season coming up? Or?
I would say something that I'm really excited about is that since Wagon Wheel became a not-for-profit theater, that we've really expanded our youth and educational programs. So just like always, we'll be doing 2 different summer camps for kids in the community. The first one happens starting next week, and that is basically an introduction to theater. Danielle Robertson and I will be co-teaching that program. And that's for kids who are 1st grade through 6th grade. And then later on in the summer, culminating in a performance on July 14th, we'll be doing our Young Actors Workshop production, which is for 7th through 12th graders, and that will be a fully produced production of the musical Honk, which is a version of the Ugly Duckling. So that continues to be a vital part of our summer, as well as some exciting programs that we're instituting for the fall, winter, and spring as well. So
great. And after Peter Pan, will you be in some more shows this summer? Or?
Yeah, I'm going to be in the ensemble of Legally Blonde, and I'm going to play the Star Keeper in Carousel, and then Ben Dickey will be coming back into town, and he and I will be co-directing the 5th play of the season, Blithe Spirit. So we're really excited to do that, and it's always fun to work with Ben.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, David.